Hi everyone, I'm Moody Boo and I'm back with another 8 great. But these are 8 great facts. I don't know if they're that great, but they're things you don't know about me. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. It's really hard for me to gauge what you do and don't know about me because I'm kind of an open book. So, anyway, I'll just kind of give you some, at least maybe some interesting things. I don't know, maybe not. It's all up to interpretation, honestly. So anyway, we'll get started. In general, I'm 56 and I'm happily married, have been lustfully, lovingly crazy about my snuggle monkey for 30 years. And he's pretty crazy about me too. And he may even start doing some videos with me again. We kind of started doing this series, Love is 2020, several years back. And then we both got busy and I kind of was going in and out of YouTube and I hadn't really committed again. And so anyway, but I asked him, you know, during all this craziness, especially if we end up having to have some time off, that we should do that again, just for shits and giggles. And he agreed. So we may just start that. I have 2 sons and 3 grandsons. I know I have to look. I had to look to, what else about me? Oh yeah, I do have 2 sons and I have 3 grandsons. And I worship them. There is always been so much testosterone in my life, though. Honestly, I have 2 sisters and a brother. And I'm so close with them, especially my sisters. I just absolutely adore them. And, but when they're not around, it's all guys in my household or around me. I even have 2 male dogs. So, I don't know. But they're neutered, so they don't really emit any testosterone. Yeah, that's an idea. Maybe it's time for a neuter party in my house. Oh, boys! I think I was a cat in another life, and I think my husband agrees. I've almost died like 7 times in my life. So that means I got 2 left. When I was 2, I walked off the end of the dock fully clothed, didn't know how to swim yet, and sunk. And luckily, my eldest sister jumped in and pulled me out and saved my life. Otherwise, I would have been toast. So there was that. Then when I was 4, a little kid in the neighborhood in this rural town that we lived in didn't like me, and I was thirsty and said that he had some water for me and gave me this little metal cup, and I drank it and it was lighter fluid. So I got very sick, and I don't know if I got chemical pneumonia or came close to it. I know my mom wouldn't let me throw up. She didn't take me to the hospital. She just called the Poison Control Center. You had to have blood gushing from your neck, spurting like that for my mom to take us to the hospital, let me tell you. So anyway, they said, don't let me throw up. So she just, don't you throw up, Boo, don't you throw up. So I didn't throw up that I remember. I don't know, I was kind of in and out of it. So, and then when I was 9, I used to get chronic tonsillitis, strep throat quite a bit. And they gave me some penicillin to get, before I became allergic to it, for my throat infection, which got rid of it, but it wasn't a big enough dose to get rid of the whole thing. And it went to the lining of my brain, and I ended up with encephalitis. Now, if you ask my sisters, they think that's when the brain damage happened, at least the first time. So anyway, yeah. So then at age 11, I was hit by a car in early January. It was slick, and this one car had stopped to let me and my girlfriends cross the street, and this other car didn't see that person had stopped for us, and I was out in front, and so they swerved to miss me, and I ran to miss them, and we hit head on. So if I'd have gone under the car, the police said that it would have killed me, but I bounced on top of it. And I actually did as much damage to her car as my hospital bill was. My dad started saying I was built Ford tough after that. So yeah, that was at 11. And then at 22, I'm not going to get into a lot of details, but because of an old roommate I had, she got us into a predicament that I ended up getting us out of. We were held in a hotel room and by a couple of men that wanted to do us harm. And luckily I was able to get to the door and threw it open and started screaming fire while I stuck my foot in the door so that they couldn't shut it and lock us in there again. So, and then at 49, I got heat exhaustion in a lava field in Hawaii. And if it wasn't for my husband, I would have died. It was horrible, horrible, horrible. One of the hottest days in Hawaii that year. And we took a wrong path. Meant to take one path through this lava field, ended up taking a really long one. Didn't have enough fluids on board, and it was black lava. It was baking up while the sun was baking down, and the humidity was just dehydrating us. And yeah, that was a spooky one. Whew, that was spooky. And then last one at 51, I got caught in a riptide, even though I had watched the ocean for like 10 minutes on right just, was it south of Waikiki Beach? And we had watched the ocean for, like I said, 10 minutes, and it was real steady, but we didn't know when the tides were. That's important when you're in unfamiliar waters or even familiar ones that you're swimming in. You need to know when the tide is going in and out, because that's when your rips are going to be bad. Anyway, I had bilateral frozen shoulder, and I call those my T-Rex ears because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't lift my arms higher than this, and I couldn't lift them out more than about that. So yeah, I had swim fins on, but this was a bad rip. And again, if it wasn't for my husband and my own knowledge of never turn your back on the ocean, I would have died. So anyway, and yeah, I'm still here. So yay. So all of those near-death experiences is what made me put number 2 down on there. And I don't believe in a bucket list per se, because the whole concept of a bucket list, it almost implies that you have to wait until the end is near before you start doing some of the things that you've always wanted to do. And I have never lived by that. From the age of 19 on, I have always followed my heart, my dreams. Unfortunately, I probably hurt some people on the way, which I feel very bad about, chasing those dreams, and especially when I was very young. And but I never wanted to look back at my life and regret not doing something. I'd much rather regret doing something than not doing something. I've always lived by that. I refuse to be a bystander. I tend to jump in first without using my brain. Again, that whole passionate thing comes to mind. Makes my husband nuts because he is very much logical, safety driven, and I am just impulsive and extremely passionate. So but we really work. We really are each other's lock and key. I can't even express it enough. But anyway, so I don't want to wait. So I have been checking things off my bucket list, like I said, since I was about 19. So I have done a tandem skydive. I've parasailed. I've snorkeled with sharks twice on Oahu. Ridden in a submarine. Swam at night with manta rays twice. Ziplined through rainforests in Mexico and then ziplined in Hawaii. I have caught a 27-pound king salmon when I was 13. And my husband is a sailplane pilot, so we go soaring often. It's seasonal, so you have to go like late spring through summer to early fall, but it's amazing. And one time we went soaring. Soaring is a glider. So that's the airplane with no engine that gets towed up by another airplane that has an engine, and then you release it 2,000 or 3,000 feet, and then you find what's called thermals, and they're almost like little air tornadoes that either have lift or they have sink in them. But when you see a hawk, you'll see a hawk doing circles like this. It's riding a thermal. A dust devil, that's a type of thermal. Anyway, you ride him up, and then he would stall, and it'd be fun to. And I'm telling you, being in a sailplane is crazy because it's 2-seater at the most that I know of. Maybe there's bigger ones, but the Lark, the one that I'm always in, is a 2-seater. And if he sits in the back seat and I'm in the front seat, the nose is like right here, the end of the nose. And this is all clear canopy above you. It's clear so you can see through it. And so when he stalls, you're looking up and then you're looking straight down. And it's so awesome. I'm telling you, it's awesome. If you have a chance to go soaring, do it. There is nothing like it. Nothing. There's no sound, but there's a little tiny window that they'll open and you'll hear that whistling in. But if it's cool enough, you can keep that shut, and it's so quiet. And it's the most realistic human way of flying, as close to a bird as possible without flapping. As far as careers, I think everybody knows now that I'm a nurse. I have been for the last 24 years. But I've done everything from, I was a lead singer in 3 different bands. I've been a water ski instructor. I was a licensed cosmetologist back in the 80s when it was all big hair and mohawks. It was a blast. And I was a forklift operator for a construction company. Part of that while I was pregnant with my second son. And I've been a DJ in a variety of nightclubs outside of, in North Carolina, in Fayetteville, North Carolina, back in the 80s. And that was all before the age of 26. And finally fell in love with nursing and the whole concept of it. And became a nurse. Been doing that the last 24 years. So anyway, yeah, jack of all trades, master of abso-fucking-lutely nothing. Nothing at all. I have a few celebrity crushes, but I just put down 4. One is Keanu Reeves. I have loved him since Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. But then as an adult, when I have seen how absolutely kind and unassuming and very grateful to his fans and just a really down-to-earth kind of guy he is, I'm like, okay, yeah, back up there. You are on the top of the list again. I just absolutely adore him. I think more celebrities should be like that. I mean, he's almost literally given the shirt off his back to a fan. So, really good guy. And Sam Elliott. I've adored him since I first saw him in this movie back in the early 70s, I want to say, called Lifeguard. Oh, he was hot. And then he just got hotter and hotter, and his voice got deeper and deeper, and that mustache got bigger and bigger, and I was like, hubba hubba ding ding. Oh my God. And I just adore his wife, Catherine Ross, too. They've been together since, I think, this movie called Legacy, which I love the movie too. She's gorgeous. She's always been gorgeous. But anyway, yep. He's hot, and every time he comes on TV and my husband's out of the room, put your tongue back in your mouth, honey. I can hear Sam Elliott's on the TV. And Helen Mirren. I mean, I am not going to discriminate. That woman, she is so classy and so hot. Every time she's on that one, my husband will call me in. Oh, honey, Helen Mirren's on the TV. Come on in and drool over this gorgeous woman. It's okay with me. Funny how there's a double standard there. But, oh, I just, I mean, I, I, and then she's so talented and she's so beautiful and she's so classy and I don't know. Who doesn't have a crush on Helen Mirren? From what it sounds like, most of her co-stars do too. Oh. And then last but not least, if I was younger, Adam Driver, I would be all over that. I mean, not literally, because he would, because one of the things that makes him so sexy is that he's crazy in love with his wife. And that, to me, it's like Vin Diesel. That just makes him hotter when they're a good dad or they're a good grandfather or they're a good husband, and really loving and the fame doesn't matter to him as much as their family. That is hot. That's sexy. That is sexy AF. I'm here to tell you. But it's when, they start feeling entitled, where they start resenting their fans because you're a bother and I don't want to be disturbed while I'm eating dinner. Well, eat the fuck at home then. We're paying your goddamn bills. This isn't a pay-by-movie. You are salary. You're on the clock 24/7 when you're out in public. That's the way I look at it. So don't give me any shit because you want to eat dinner by yourself. You're rich enough. Go pay for a private room to have dinner in the restaurant. I'm sure they'd accommodate you. But if you're going to be out in public where, I am and everybody else is, yeah, suck it up, buttercup. Anyway, see, I don't even know. I've added like 10 things in there. I think we're way past 8. But I'm just going to finish up my list. I have 4 phobias. Arachnophobia, coulrophobia, submechanophobia, and thalassophobia. Yes. So obviously arachnophobia is spiders. I was bitten by a hobo when I was a little kid between the eyes. I saw the spider up in the corner of my room before I went to bed, but I wasn't afraid of spiders, so it didn't bother me. And I woke up in the middle of the night because something was tickling my eyelashes. And when I opened my eyes, I saw a couple of spider legs that were all stuck in my eyelashes. So I just smashed it and went back to sleep. And woke up the next morning and it had bit me when I smashed it. And my face swelled up like this. My eyes almost swelled shut. My mother almost screamed when she saw me. And then I did scream when I looked in the mirror because I had to go like this to see. Oh my God! It was so scary. So yes, arachnophobia. And then coulrophobia is clowns. I hate them. They're evil behind a happy face. That's the way I feel about them. The only exception are bullfighters, the rodeo cowboys. They don't bother me at all. I think they're cool as hell. But circus, parade, Ronald McDonald clowns, no, no, stay away from me. I get really crazy about clowns, man. And it's just something that happened to me as a kid. And I have almost smacked a clown. I came really close. I had to pull my fist back when somebody tapped me on. It was a really crowded parade. That's why I don't do parades anymore. It was really crowded and somebody tapped me on to get by me. And I turned around. It was the clown with the balloons. Total, red hair thing and nose and the make. And I was like, oh, because when I turned around, oh, and then I was like, whoa. All right, children, balloons, not here to hurt you. So anyway, I hate them. Hate clowns. I don't do them at all. And then thalassophobia is like a fear of deep open water. I can't swim in deep ocean. I have to see the sand or the ocean bottom below me, and then I'm good. It can be 40 feet below me. As long as I can see it, I'm good. As soon as I see that line of deep sapphire blue, that line of demarcation that happens, I will come right up to the edge. I have tried so many times to go over that edge and swim over into the deep blue. I can't do it. As soon as I start doing it, pushing myself to do it, I freak the fuck out. I turn around and I swim until I'm only in 6 feet of water or something. I will freak myself out every time. It's the fear of what is down there. We don't even know what's all down there yet because there's so much shit down there. So many creatures. I mean, we didn't even know about the giant squid and then the colossal squid until the last couple of decades, for Christ's sakes. Yeah, no. No, I can't. Now, when I'm in a shark cage, I can do it because I got the bars below me. It's this fear of falling down into there and then everything coming up at the same time. It's irrational. That's what a phobia is. It's irrational. So it's very hard for me to explain. And my last one is submechanophobia. I'm terrified not just of man-made things under the water, but sometimes natural things too. Like a shipwreck, if it's super clear, sandy, sunny day, shallow water, I still couldn't do it. I'm trying to picture myself there. I was thinking, yeah, I could do that. No, I can't. I could do it, but I would have a lot of anxiety coming up to that shipwreck and seeing it under the water and then getting in the water and swimming up to it. Now, once I'm up to it, I'm good. I'm all right. But it's swimming up to it. It's not seeing it and having it materialize. That's where my fear lies. It's also with, like, if there's a lake, a murky lake, and you have a fallen tree in there, and the top of the tree, part of the tree is sticking out, and then it goes down into the dark green. Oh. Or lines in the ocean, like buoy lines that go down. Oh. My husband thinks the last two, the thalassophobia and the submechanophobia, are from a fear from me seeing Jaws so many times when I was 12. Because I was with my girlfriend, and she was this tiny, petite, beautiful little blonde. And here I was this big, clumsy brunette. And it got to the point in Jaws, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Jaws yet, I'm about to give you a spoiler. And if you haven't seen it, you're stupid. You need to see Jaws. It's a classic. Anyway, the head pops out of the boat. I start crying like a little bitch. I was like, I want to go home. She's like, butch up. I think she said, toughen up, toughen up. We had to wait in line for 2 hours to get here, and we were like in one of the front 2 rows. She's like, we're not going anywhere. And I was like, okay. So I sucked it up and made it through. And I was very proud of myself, but I was a big wuss. And so my husband thinks, and then I went back a few more times because I love to be scared. Crazy. And he's probably right. That's probably where those last 2 phobias came from. Yep. So I'm not superstitious, but I have OCD. So I used to not like numbers that weren't the same as my age. So if I was an even number year, I only liked even numbers. And if I was an odd number year, vice versa. Oh, that scared me. And if it was an odd year, then vice versa. If I was an odd year, then vice versa. But probably the last 10 years, it's just been even numbers. Doesn't matter what age I am. I only like even numbers. It's a weird thing. I told you, I have a lot of weird things. But it doesn't display everywhere. When I count my steps, it has to be an even number. But I don't always count my steps. If I'm walking with somebody and they're distracting me, I don't count. But the volume on the TV has to be an even number. It makes me insane. Absolutely makes me crazy. Any dial that has to be dialed up to a number has to be an even number for me if I can possibly make it that. I know. I don't get it either. But I also have ADD. And so I need at least 2 sensory stimulations a lot of times to keep myself sane. So, like, my husband will laugh, but he gets it. I mean, it's taken him a while, but he gets it. I'll have a movie on TV. I'll have my laptop on, be working on something there with my earbuds in. And, or I'll be watching a TV series on my laptop and then have a movie on the TV and play a game on my phone. It's like, and I know I said 2 because it's like I need visual and audio, or I need tactile and oral. So, you know, I mess with my food a lot when I'm eating because of that tactile sensation, and then I'm eating, so it's the sense of taste. So it's weird thing. I think that's another reason why I'm so passionate about perfumes, is because of my OCD. And that's pretty much while I'm awake at all times. So when I'm working, I do a standing desk. I herniated disc in my back and hurt my sacral iliac joint end of last summer, beginning of last fall. And so sitting kills me. So I prefer to stand. It makes my back feel a lot better. So when I'm at work, I've got to have, you know, I'll be working on what I need to work on, and I'll have the radio going, and then on my phone, I'll have some other little stimuli, like a white noise thing going on. And I know it's weird. So, but I also need the opposite to sleep. So I have this feather pillow that I've gotten just the perfect amount of squishy, and I tuck it up around my ears, and then it's got to be full dark for me. So my eyes will have to be covered. I can't handle the TV being on or anything like that. Can't be any weird smells. My pillows have to be kind of a silky material. I have this fake fur blanket that I have 2 of them, and I sandwich between them because that gives me a tactile sensation that helps me sleep. I know, right? I probably should be admitted somewhere, studied, given medication or something, but you know, it works for me. I'm making it. I haven't been institutionalized yet, so we're all good. So I got my DNA done, and I was really hoping I had some kind of, you know, flavor, some part of the rainbow in my DNA. But I am 100% European. I mean 100, because when they first did it, it said, hey, you got a little Greek, we think, a little Italian, a little Russian, you know, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. I was hoping there was something that I didn't know. You know, that's what I consider being cool, was something I didn't know was in my DNA. So, but then they've gotten better and better, and they've been able to, you know, shrink it down to where it's really, really more specific. So I am from Great Britain, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, Norway, Sweden, and Germany, with lore in our family history of having Viking heritage. So, wow, that's about as white as you can get. Yep. No rainbow. It's just the white. I was hoping. But oh well. I'm pretty proud of my heritage either way. European's good. It's good. It's very good. I love that Ancestry DNA showed that I came from the Pennsylvania Dutch. And some members of my family are doing some of the family tree things. So we're kind of link them together. We know that we came from Scotland. We have been able to trace it back to Scotland. That's kind of our where my family's surname started anyway. So, and the last thing I was going to tell you is I have to really hold back doing these videos. I got to tell you. I have a very sick and twisted sense of humor most times. So you get a very watered down, muted version of me on YouTube. I know you don't think so, but you do. Let me tell you, you do. And I just want you to thank me now. You're welcome. All right, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Stay safe.